Welcome back to Andersen Acres. We're out here with the rabbits again today. These are our pregnant females. They are getting pretty close to kindling. Again, I'm going to apologize for the ordering of this playlist. If you're watching the playlist in order, it's going to seem kind of weird because we go from having rabbits who are not pregnant to rabbits who are about to kindle. I reordered the playlist weird. I reordered the playlist so that it makes sense. But as a result, you go from one video to another where you have different moms, different babies, different ages, and it flips around a lot. That's just because of the way I filmed. Hi, Mr. Otterton. You're a nice boy. So we have 3 pregnant females in this pen. And I wanted to talk today about breeding does in tandem. What breeding does in tandem means is having more than one lady about to have babies at the same time. So these guys are all due on the same day. Okay, we did that on purpose. So breeding does in tandem simply means making sure you have more than one doe who's going to kindle at the same time. Okay, it's not a complicated idea, but there's a really good reason to do this. Now, this is one of the best pieces of advice that I got when I first started breeding rabbits. Okay, breed rabbits in tandem. Always have more than one pregnant at a time, and ideally, you should have an experienced mama in the group. So we have 3 rabbits here. Now, I've kind of violated my own rule with these 3 because my rule is generally, regardless of how many females you have pregnant, you should not have more than half of those females be first-time moms. So I've got these 3 are pregnant. Loki's the only experienced mom. Deli here and then Andersen, who just went back behind the house, are both first-time mamas, providing they have babies. I haven't palpated them. Pretty sure she took because she always does. I actually haven't palpated the other 2. I do not know if they're pregnant for sure, but I'm assuming, given that the boy we put them to is indeed fertile. So, because he's had babies before. So I kind of violated my own rule. Generally, I recommend no more than half of your rabbits should be first-time moms, because just in case. I'll explain the just in case in a minute. So I violated that particular rule only because I'm pretty sure everything's going to be fine, and I do have Gemini about to have babies in the house, so they'll have babies about 2 weeks apart. Gemini's a pretty good mom. Worst case scenario, she can foster. Again, I'll talk about fostering in just a second. So, absolutely, breed your does in tandem if at all possible. It can save the life of an entire litter. This is especially important if you have a doe who has never had babies before. So first-time mamas like Deli over there. This is going to be Loki's 4th litter with us, 5th litter total in her life, and then Gemini in the house is about to have her 4th litter. So these are not new mamas. These 2 back here are new mamas. Okay? An experienced mom knows what to do, but a first-time mom may panic. Okay? And in the case of panicking, you give the babies to the older, more experienced mom. I'll explain what that panicking might look like in a sec. If you don't have 2 does to breed, so let's say you have a single rabbit, you don't have 2 of them, you just have 1. So what you do then, or what you should do then, is see if you can find somebody in your area who also breeds rabbits and find out what their breeding schedule is and ask if you can just use them as a backup. You know, if you're breeding your doe for the first time and you're like, okay, well, if something happens, could you foster the babies for me with one of your mamas? Okay, a lot of rabbit breeders will say yes because a lot of us have been in that position and we wanted someone to say yes for us. So I would say yes to people who ask me that, and I have. You know, I've told them, okay, well, I will be breeding my girls on this date, so you should breed your girl on that date as well. What you should not ask another breeder to do is alter their schedule to suit you, because that's not fair. But if you're willing to breed on their schedule, most rabbit breeders will be your backup foster home if absolutely needed. Hopefully it's not needed. Why might it be needed? Okay, so first-time moms, think about if you have children when you were a first-time parent. Things don't always go smoothly. You don't always know what you're doing. Sometimes you need to ask for help. Well, rabbits can't really ask for help. They don't really have that cognitive function. So Deli can't run over to Loki here and go, hey, Hey, what do I do? Mr. Otterton just laid down. He wants me to let him out of the pen. I will let you out of the pen as soon as Rowan gets home. You can run around and play with Rowan. He doesn't like being locked up in the pen, even though it's an entire pen just for him. He doesn't like being locked up. Doesn't matter. Don't worry about him. So, why might a rabbit need some help? Well, she can't ask for help. She can't run over and ask a more experienced mom. So Andersen over here can't run up and go, hey, Loki, what the heck do I do? So you definitely want to kind of have a backup plan because first-time moms can get a little confused. So a new mom might be very confused and scatter her babies all over the cage. She might not build a nest. She might just drop them wherever she happens to be. A rabbit that does that generally abandons them. Okay, it's actually pretty rare that a rabbit does that kind of thing because they're usually pretty good moms. But if your mama scatters the babies all over the cage, chances are she is not going to pick them up again. Okay, chances are she needs to have those babies fostered. So you want to pick them up before they die. You might want to grab them and put them with the more experienced mom so the more experienced mom can look after them. Okay, our most experienced mom here is Loki. So if Andersen were to decide her babies, she doesn't know what they are, she doesn't know what to do, she's going to have them all over the cage, we would give them to Loki immediately. Something else that might happen is your new mama might get scared and she might start eating her children. Sorry, but it does happen on occasion. Okay, it does. All animals do that. That's like all types of animals do that at some point. They might panic. They don't really know what's going on. They get scared, so they start eating them. If your rabbit starts doing that, she's not going to stop. Okay, so if your rabbit starts eating her babies, rescue the ones you can, get them to a foster mama. So if Andersen here were to start eating her babies, I would rescue whoever I could and give them to Loki, because Loki knows what to do. You also might have a case where your mama's fine, but she just has too many babies. So Loki there is known to have litters of like 10 and 11, one time 12. So she has big litters. She is able to manage that many babies perfectly. Okay, she doesn't have a problem feeding that many. Most rabbits do have a problem feeding that many because they really shouldn't feed more than 6. So in the case where, let's say, Deli has 3 babies and Andersen here has 10, I would take 3 of those babies and give them over here to Deli. Kind of, you want to keep track, obviously, of which baby came from which mama. But it is better if they don't have to feed a whack load of babies. So I have done that in the past where I've given Loki some from another rabbit who had too many. Because my rabbits, most rabbits, have either 6 or 8 teats, depends on the type of rabbit. But they normally have 6 teats. So Loki has 6 teats. She can handle 12 babies. That's not common. Normally, if your rabbit only has 6 teats, they can only handle 6 babies. Loki somehow manages. Gemini managed with 7 babies. But generally, if your rabbit has more than 6, I would move the extras to somebody who had less babies. Okay? Or in our case, give them to Loki. Loki can handle basically unlimited number of babies. One time I had her fostering and she had 11, plus I gave her 4 from another mom who was eating her babies. We don't have that mom anymore. She turned out not to be a good breeder. But we rescued her babies by giving them to Loki, so Loki raised 15. That was nuts. But, it's Loki. Most rabbits can't handle that many. Try to keep your rabbit numbers at about 6 per mama, so you can kind of reorder them a little bit. Rabbits are typically fine if you do that. They are okay. It's not a big deal. As long as you do it really early. That's why they have to kindle pretty much on the same day or within a day of each other. So definitely do that. So that being said, yes, mamas make mistakes. Yes, they get confused. Yes, sometimes a bad thing will happen. So with that being said, just because your mama got scared or got confused and didn't really know what to do the first time, doesn't mean she's not going to be a good mama the second time. So if your rabbit ate her babies, that doesn't mean you can't breed her again. You probably should give her another chance. If she eats her babies a second time, so has the exact same problem twice in a row, then maybe not. Maybe that's not a good mama rabbit. Maybe retire her. But any rabbit can get kind of scared and eat their children. Okay, so it's okay if that happens. It's normal. So maybe your first time mama didn't know what was happening and she gave birth all over the cage and then she abandoned the little ones. If she was a first time mama, that doesn't mean she's a bad mama. It just means she got confused and that happens. It's a shame, but you know what? Like, Loki here is a phenomenal mom and she was a phenomenal mom from the beginning. Just because your rabbit isn't doesn't mean they can't be. So maybe consider giving mama a second chance if she screws up the first time. Now, true, if she has the same problem 2, 3 times in a row, it's time to retire her, but give her a chance. So, those are just some of the many reasons you should absolutely breed your rabbits in tandem. I do recommend it if at all possible. I know it's not always going to be possible. Get something cute happening here. Oh, look at the love. Grooming. Snuggles. Look at that. Yeah. Anyway, zoom back out here. There we go. Back to Loki. So, yeah. Breed your does in tandem if it's possible. If it's not possible, then it's not possible. You can't always do anything about it. But if you can, definitely do it. Okay? Breed more than one at once, just in case. Hopefully that just in case never happens to you, but it could. So breed your does in tandem. That's about it for us here today at Andersen Acres. We are done hanging out with the bunnies for the day. We will probably do a little more filming tomorrow. We'll see you then.